Sophia, where have you run off to? Please stop ignoring my calls. Sorry, I had my phone on mute. Were you calling to ask where I'd gone? I've wrapped up work for the day and gone home. Okay, well, can you come back? Jim's been looking all over for you. Really? No one informed me that we'd be working overtime today. I don't think that's what he wants to discuss. He just said he had something important to tell you. I'm sure whatever it is can wait until Monday. Why until Monday? Oh, I'll be out of the office for the next few days. You're using your vacation days? What's wrong? Are you okay? I'm doing fine. I had to take a few days off before the wedding to handle some last-minute preparations. What wedding is so important that you would take time off work to prepare for it? It's my wedding, Annie. I'm getting married this evening. What? All of a sudden? It's funny, you're the only person I've told who hasn't asked why it took us so long. Isn't 30 the age for marriage these days? Don't get me wrong, it's not that I think you're rushing into things. I'm just surprised you planned everything so quickly. I mean, you never even mentioned that you were engaged, and now you're saying that you're getting married this evening? I know, I'm sorry. I meant to tell you earlier, but there was so much I had to take care of, it just slipped my memory. Oh, and while we're on the topic, I know it's a bit last minute, but would you like to be my wedding witness? Are you being serious? Yes, absolutely. It shouldn't take up too much of your time. It's going to be a small courthouse wedding. Gosh, I don't know. It's unfair to spring these things on people at the last minute. I've already made plans for the evening. Of course, I understand. I should have given you prior notice. I'll go see if I can rope someone from the IT department into helping me out. No, wait, I was joking. I'm used to working under tight deadlines. I promise I'll do a great job. I should get to work right away. I'll buy a dress, write a speech. Do you have a specific color in mind? Please, don't feel obligated to do more than necessary. Attending the ceremony and signing some paperwork will be more than enough. What's the matter, Sophia? Where's the joy? Where's the excitement? Someone might think you're being forced into the marriage. Wait, you aren't being forced into it, are you? No, of course not. I've just been feeling low energy all day. I was up all night working on my wedding vows. You were? I can't wait to hear what you've come up with. Unfortunately, I don't think you'll be able to hear them. They ended up sounding a bit too somber for my liking. I've decided to stick to the tried and true till death do us part. Somber wedding vows? I've heard of brides shedding tears of joy on their big day, but this is taking it a bit too far, don't you think? Are you sure everything's all right? I am. I was in a bit of a weird mood last night. It's like there was this nagging feeling at the back of my mind that I couldn't shake. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't pinpoint what was causing it. It had to have been pre-wedding nerves. I could never be sad at the thought of marrying Stephen. I love him too much. Right, of course. I hope you know that I'm always here if you need someone to talk to. Sure, thanks. See you tomorrow? Hold on, what about Jim? He sounded pretty serious. I'll text him later. If it were something truly urgent, I'm sure he'd have contacted me directly. Okay, but don't say I didn't warn you if he chews you out. I won't. What is it, Jim? Is everything all right?
I can't talk over the phone. You need to come to my office urgently.
I'm sorry, but I don't think I'll be able to do that. I have to go and get my wedding dress. We talked about me taking a few days off, remember?
I don't think you fully grasp the gravity of the situation. The implications of this go beyond our department. It could potentially jeopardize the future of the whole company.
All right, I'm heading over.
Hurry up, but drive carefully.
I always do. Sophia, what's going on? People are starting to get worried out here. It's my wedding dress, Annie. I can't find it anywhere. What? How is that even possible? Weren't you wearing it when you got here? I only intended to wear that dress to the courthouse. I was going to change into another gown for the reception. But now it's all ruined. Is there anything I can do to help? Would you like me to help you look for it? No, that's okay. I've already informed the staff and they're doing their best to help me recover it. If we can't locate it in time, I'll ask them to show me the surveillance footage. The surveillance footage? Do you think it could have been stolen? We can't rule out anything. I'll call Steven and tell him what's going on. The ceremony is officially on hold. But the search could take hours. I don't mean to sound insensitive, but can't you look for it after the ceremony? People here must have a strict schedule to follow. No, Annie, I can't do that. In cases like this, every second is crucial. If we can't track it down in time, we'll just have to reschedule. If you get tired of waiting, feel free to leave. Okay, I guess. I can stay until security personnel asks us to leave. Sure.
Sorry I couldn't take your call. I thought I'd left my phone at work, so I drove all the way back to check, but then I heard it ringing and realized it had fallen under the back seat. Thankfully, I've made it just in time for the ceremony.
Steven, whatever you do, do not go into the courthouse.
Huh? Why not? Are you breaking off the engagement because I showed up 10 minutes late? I guess that's fair.
No, of course not. It's going to take at least a 15-minute delay for me to call it quits.
What a relief. But if that's not the case, what is it?
I'm in hiding.
Sorry, where exactly are you?
Look up at the second window from the left on the 3rd floor. Do you see me waving?
I do. Hi.
Hi. You look absolutely dashing.
Thank you. But what are you doing up there?
I'm hiding!
Okay, what are you hiding from?
Oh, I don't know. Responsibility, a difficult moral decision, Jim.
I'm not following.
Okay, I'll explain everything, but you must stay out of view. Try to make yourself inconspicuous.
Should I just get back into the car?
Yes, that's perfect. To do that.
All right, give me a second. Okay, so what's going on?
Can I trust you to keep what I'm about to tell you confidential?
Of course.
I can't talk about it in detail, but apparently, last Thursday, Jim made a careless mistake that resulted in a serious data breach. It was contained in time, and he thought he'd gotten away with it, but this morning, he realized some of the higher-ups had taken notice. And do you know what the worst part is? He wants me to help him cover his tracks and shift the blame to Annie.
I don't understand. Isn't your office heavily surveilled? Surely they'll figure out it was him.
Well, it wasn't really something that could be captured on surveillance cameras. The issue was caused by a communication error. If the two people who witnessed the accident were to team up to pin the blame on the third, that person would never manage to prove their innocence definitively.
Is all of this scheming really necessary? Who hasn't made a mistake at work? All you need to do is take responsibility and begin working on resolving the situation. You definitely don't need to throw your coworkers to the wolves.
Well, I don't need it. Jim does. He's a man of great ambition. Lately, rumors have been swirling around that he's in line for promotion. If it's confirmed that the data breach was caused by his mistake, he's definitely going to lose that promotion. He might even get fired.
Okay, I can see why he may not want to come clean, but what about you? What's stopping you from reporting this to the higher-ups? Frankly, I don't quite understand why he mentioned it to you in the first place.
I'm not sure, but perhaps he trusts me more because I'm Charlie's godmother? He could have thought I was more likely to keep quiet. As to why I haven't reported him yet, it's because, despite his flaws, Jim's still a pretty decent boss. He's worked his way up from the bottom through years of hard work and dedication. He's always open to hearing our thoughts and ideas. He encourages our professional growth. Anyway, the point is, he doesn't deserve to get fired over one mistake.
And what about Annie? Does she deserve to get fired over somebody else's mistake?
No, she does not. She's a diligent worker and a caring friend. Plus, she already has so much on her plate. Ugh! Of all the times to take annual leave, why did Kevin have to choose now? I'd have thrown him under the bus without a second thought. Figuratively, of course.
That's a totally normal and not at all alarming statement to make.
I'm only half joking. He's pretty unbearable. Unfortunately, only the three of us worked overtime on Thursday. I know what you're thinking. If you're so worried about Jim's job, why don't you take responsibility for the mistake yourself? I can't do that. I can't afford to lose my job. Quite literally.
I see. Could that possibly be related to what we talked about last night?
Well,
Because if it is, you really don't have to worry about that. I'm sure my insurance will cover most of the costs associated with the treatment.
I know, but you can never be too careful. Life's far too unpredictable. It's best not to leave anything to chance. I don't want you to feel responsible or guilty for something I'm choosing to do. Please, just think of this as me being selfish. I'll figure something out.
What exactly do you have in mind? Please, try not to do anything too reckless, Sophia.
I promise I won't. I'll just talk to Jim and try to reason with him. He was the one who made the mistake, right?
Right, and then he shirked the responsibility of making the tough decision and left it for you to handle.
He did, and on my wedding day, too. How inconsiderate is that? I know the matter's urgent, but he could have brought it up after the ceremony. Just thinking about it is making my blood boil. I'll go and confront him right now. Or maybe I should do it over text, just in case.
That would probably be for the best. So can I finally come in now?
Sure, but nothing's certain yet, so you must do it quietly. I'll see if I can get one of the staff members to open the back door. Just a heads up, I did tell them I was having a breakdown over losing my reception gown to buy myself some time to think.
The reception gown? The one you left at home?
Yep. I promise I won't take offense if you judge me. I'm so sorry our wedding day got ruined. I swear I'll make it up to you. I know, I'll bake you a cake from scratch.
Would you really? I had no idea you enjoyed baking.
Well, I'm still an amateur. I've only been taking classes for 2 weeks.
After all these years, I'm still learning things about you.
I guess that's one benefit of living apart. Oh my god, I get it now, that's it! That's the thing that has been bugging me. The longest we've lived under the same roof has been 3 weeks. What if you get tired of being around me 24/7? What if our marriage ends up falling apart? It won't, right? It can't. Are you not the least bit worried about that?
The being around each other too much part? No, not really. It's not like we'll be spending every second at home, right? Even if we were to do that, I'm sure we could handle it. Do you not think we could?
I think we could. I really do, but is that really enough? It's not that I don't want to be around you, Stephen. I'd love nothing more than to spend every waking moment in your presence. Maybe it's just the fatalist in me talking, but I'm worried that if we suddenly change our lifestyles without a gradual transition, we will end up drifting apart. That's what happened to my parents, and Annie, and that actor from that TV show. It feels like an unhappy ending is inevitable.
I don't know what to say, Sophia. I can't say I've ever doubted our ability to smoothly transition from living apart to living together, but I also understand where you're coming from. Getting married is already a big commitment, and when you add moving in together on top of that, especially when you're so used to living alone, it can definitely feel overwhelming. Perhaps we should consider taking things one step at a time.
What do you mean?
Well, maybe we should postpone the wedding until after we've spent some time living together.
Could we really do that?
I don't see why not. We haven't signed the paperwork yet, so it should be fine.
And you won't resent me for this forever and doubt the sincerity of my feelings for you? Please, be honest with me.
No, Sophia, I'll neither resent nor doubt you over this. It's important to me that we're both on the same page about such significant life decisions.
Are you absolutely, completely, 100% sure you're okay with this?
I am.
Okay, then let's do it. I'll come down and we can drive straight to the grocery store to get the ingredients for the cake. Which do you prefer, red velvet or classic Victoria sponge cake?
Red velvet, I suppose. Is there anything I can do to help? I'm not much of a baker, but I can mix things somewhat well.
I'm sure we'll find a way to put you to work. Let's get the ingredients and we'll figure out the rest as we go. Does that sound good to you?
Sure, sounds great.
I've made up my mind.
The ceremony's over already? Many congratulations to the married couple.
There was no ceremony. We called off the wedding.
What happened? Is everything all right?
Everything's fantastic.
Is it a bad time to ask what you've decided? I don't mean to sound insensitive, but I've got to finish the report by tonight.
I'm going to tell them the truth.
You don't actually mean that. You're just emotional after the broken engagement. How about this? We still have another hour or so. Go home, get some rest, and think it over.
My decision is final. I can't assist you in backstabbing Annie. To be quite honest, the very fact that you've assumed I'd be okay with this is concerning to me.
But you were okay with it. You just said you needed time to think about it.
Well, I wasn't really debating whether to accept your offer or not. I needed time to find a solution that would have the least disastrous consequences for everyone involved.
And? Have you managed to find it?
I think so. You have to confess to everything.
You know as well as I do that I simply cannot do that.
Yes, you can. You have to. Otherwise, I'll have to ensure the management hears all about it from me.
Are you threatening me?
Does it sound like I'm threatening you?
Two can play that game, Sophia. If you refuse to change your mind, I'll fire you.
Will you really?
I will. And then it'll be the word of the newly terminated employee against her boss.
Okay, do that.
I will do it if you don't listen.
Go for it.
I'm giving you one last chance to change your mind.
I'm not going to do that.
You don't sound sure. You should think about this some more.
Are we going to continue with this back and forth, or are you going to admit that you're bluffing?
I can't lose this job, Sophia. I've worked far too hard. I've done far too much for this company. You know how many hours I've put in. You know how much I've denied myself.
Who says you have to lose your job? Listen, Jim, no one's immune to making mistakes. You know what? They really should have taken better precautions right from the start. One small mishap never should have been allowed to result in a breach of sensitive data. You've exposed a serious security vulnerability.
I see where this is going. I admit I like the new spin on the story, but what if it's not enough to convince them?
You have the entire department's support, Jim. They can't let us all go, right?
Well, they might.
I know, deep down you can see how wrong this whole thing is. Please, just do the right thing.
Do I have a choice in the matter? If I don't confess, you'll do it for me. I haven't exactly been careful about leaving no traces behind.
Some of these texts are pretty incriminating.
Right, at least if I come clean on my own terms, they might give me another chance.
And you'll avoid unjustly slandering an innocent employee of yours.
And I'll avoid unjustly slandering an innocent employee of mine. Now that I'm feeling a bit relieved from all that pressure, it's hitting me how terrible the situation must have looked from an outside point of view. I've always believed I was good at keeping calm under pressure, but the moment it got personal, I completely lost it. I'm sorry. I'll come clean about everything, including this very conversation. If they'll still have me after that, I'll continue working hard on improving my decision-making skills. If not, well, I guess I'll have to leave.
Don't you think that's a little harsh? To admit everything and face possible termination, that's
the right thing to do.
I know, but that doesn't make it any less difficult.
I'm the one putting my job on the line, Sophia. You should be consoling me, not the other way around.
It'll be fine.
That is indeed a motivational speech.
Sorry, I can't write much. I'm out shopping. Do you know where I can find some cake flour?
Oh, what?
Never mind. Gotta run. Good luck!
Sure, thanks.
As promised, Jim confessed to everything the very next day. Annie was upset, and rightfully so, though after one heartfelt apology and a hefty bonus, she decided she was finally ready to extend an olive branch to him. The company issued a statement apologizing for the data breach, claiming it was caused by an administrative error. Jim lost the promotion and got temporarily suspended from his position, but eventually managed to get back on his feet. As for Stephen and me, we decided it was best to spend a few years living together before jumping into marriage. 6 years later, we officially tied the knot in preparation for welcoming our daughter into the world. Luckily, the ceremony went without a hitch this time around.